Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this video is going to be about dopamine. So I think that this is a very important video to make because if you realize how dopamine works and how dopamine affects the functioning of your brain, you will realize that controlling and being aware of your dopamine levels will give you constant drive and motivation to work throughout the day. You won't feel shitty or empty or hollow or bored anymore throughout the day, and you're gonna feel like good and driven and just happier overall, right? So I want to make this video to show you how dopamine really works in your brain and what you can get out of it. So stay tuned till the end, right? So first of all, I'd like to point out that dopamine is the molecule of drive. What that means is dopamine is not the thing that makes you feel happy. It is the hormone that makes you want to do something. It is the hormone that makes you chase something or to get up and go after something, right? So if you had absolutely zero dopamine in your system, you would not be able to get up from bed, right? High levels of dopamine will have you so motivated and so driven that you will find yourself going crazy lengths and doing crazy things to achieve something that you want, right? So that is what high dopamine feels like, right? In a nutshell, dopamine is the reward circuitry in our brain. It's the thing that makes us chase the reward, right? Uh, on the path to get the reward, dopamine is secreted in our brain to help us chase the reward. Once the reward has been achieved, our dopamine drops and we lose motivation to work or do the hard thing. And so, it sort of drops until it picks up again once you start chasing something else, right? Now, now here's the thing, right? In modern society, most people's brains have like messed up or like fucked up levels of dopamine, right? It's all messed up, and let me explain why. So there are things. So now I told you that dopamine is the thing that makes you chase the reward, right? So from the point of you beginning your journey to the point of you getting the reward, you can kind of imagine that your dopamine goes up in a line, or rather, it goes up constantly at a very slow rate. And that's why you keep doing the thing, you keep working hard because you want the outcome, right? But what happens when you get the reward for free? What happens when someone gives you a free promotion, or just even simpler, what happens when someone gives you a gift, or what happens when someone just treats you to ice cream, or gives you any kind of reward that you didn't have to work for, right? When that happens, you basically get a spike in dopamine because you reached your end goal extremely quickly, right? Because you really, really, I mean, assuming you want the thing, of course, because it's something you enjoy, an ice cream, a slice of cake, a sweet thing you just happen to pick up, right? You just open Instagram on your phone to just scroll a little bit. Something you didn't have to work for at all, and something your brain perceives as a reward or like pleasure. Um, the thing is, you you your dopamine levels, since you want the thing and since your brain perceives it as a reward, you're you're gonna feel an extremely high, a very strong urge to do the thing, and you almost won't be able to stop yourself from doing the thing. And that's because your dopamine levels are spiking, right? They're going to spike at that point. That is why the thing is so addicting, right? And you basically had to put in absolutely no work, but you got a reward for free, and so you got a kick out of it, and you wish you keep getting that kick, right? So your dopamine levels spike, and you get the reward and you enjoy it, and you have your 5 seconds or 5 minutes of happiness while you eat the scoop of ice cream, right? But then once it's finished and once your reward has been achieved, your dopamine levels start to dip, because the thing is, The amount of dopamine your brain can secrete is constant throughout the day, and it is usually at a constant level day over day. So what that means is if you have really high peaks, you're also going to have throws afterwards where you feel unmotivated and undriven and you just don't want to do anything, right? An experiment. Go out to a restaurant and have a really, really nice meal. Have a really nice whatever thing, cuisine thing, whatever, right? Restaurant, have like a really extravagant meal and stuff yourself, feel, have everything, have all the food you want, have the dessert you want, right? Afterwards, do all that stuff, right? Just fool yourself with satisfaction and pleasure and all that stuff. Come home and then try and do something hard. Try and code, try and get after a project or a business and stuff like that, right? I'm willing to bet you won't be able to do it because you're going to feel slow and sluggish and lazy and unmotivated, right? That's because your dopamine levels peaked at the time of eating the really nice meal, and so you felt extreme pleasure. But then afterwards, you don't want to do anything because you're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, right? So the slump you experience is actually low dopamine, right? Whereas if you had like a light meal that was not too taxing on your stomach or heavy, you would experience like constant dopamine because the thing wasn't a reward, and so you have no reason to stop, right? So I kind of want to talk about this for a second. I skipped it out. This is me editing the video, but when you have spikes and dips in dopamine, it's also possible to reverse the thing. So if a spike in dopamine from a reward makes you feel like shit afterwards, doing something really, really hard that you don't want to do, something that you're unmotivated to do, which you do with low dopamine, if you force yourself to do it, you feel better afterwards because your brain is forced to give you high dopamine because the levels are constant throughout the day. What that means is if you get up really early and go to that class at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. and you have to wake up at 6 a.m. to do so, which you don't want to do, or you do the hard thing, which you don't want to do, and you get it done, you're going to feel better throughout the day and just more on point and more driven throughout the day because your dopamine levels are higher and your drive is higher. So your brain rewarded you for doing the high thing, but for doing the hard thing by giving you high levels of dopamine afterwards. So if you ever experience something like that, that is what I'm talking about. If you have peaks of dopamine, now spikes of dopamine are basically rewards you get for free. These are the easy dopamines, and these are also the bad dopamines. The most common sources are social media, junk food, pornography, alcohol, drugs, stuff like this, right? Addicting substances. Once you have high dopamine from these addictions, you're going to feel like shit afterwards. You're going to feel like low dopamine, bored, unmotivated, lazy, lethargic, feeling like shit, all that stuff afterwards, right? And that's normal because that's the way the brain is designed to work, right? Um, the contrary, like example to this is where you experience constant dopamine. So in that case, like you don't really experience like spikes in dopamine because you're not chasing instant gratification or instant rewards, but you're chasing rewards which are like far in the future, or at least which will take like a lot of hard work to get. And so your drive, or whatever the thing that is there for you to chase the reward, it's constant over time because you're moving up very, very, very slowly, or at the very least maybe it's going up slowly over time, but your drive to do the thing is constant. Like if you wanted to get into the gym and build muscle, you're not going to get jacked after day one. You're going to need to put in like years of work and discipline to like build muscle. So as you go into the gym every day to work out, your dopamine levels are constant because you know you have to put in the work every single day to maybe someday get the body that you want. So it's constant over time, more or less, right? It's not like going to the gym immediately gives you the body and then you lose motivation, right? So you have to keep doing the work constantly over time. And so what constant dopamine feels like is that hard work becomes easy because you no longer need rewards for doing hard work. Hard work starts to feel like fun, life starts to feel more bright. You start having a lust for life because uh, you no longer like just being alive and going outside and getting some sunlight and just watching trees and hearing birds and stuff, whatever, like stuff like that makes you feel good. You no longer need like the pleasure from ice cream or like the pleasure from some particular thing to make you feel good. Like everyday life starts feeling good because you no longer need any rewards. Like life is like your brain adjusts, and so you're at like constant dopamine, and so every day starts to feel good. Hard work starts becoming easy, and so you don't really like complain about working that hard. And so you don't really like you don't need a reward for working hard because you're supposed to work hard and you do it anyway. And so um the thing is like this ties into the concept of instant gratification versus delayed gratification. So um instant gratification is when you want a reward right now, meaning the ice cream, the social media, stuff like that, right? Like you want the reward right now. So you want the sweet thing, you want the food pictures on Instagram, you want the sunset photos on Instagram, and you're just gonna do all that stuff immediately. Whereas you don't want to put in any work, right? So you're not prepared to uh, do a really hard days of work before having the dessert, or you're not ready to go into the fancy restaurant and pay money to look at like the really good food, or you're not ready to hike for 2 hours in order to see the sunset. You just want it right now. You get that kick, right? So that is like instant gratification, whereas delayed gratification is basically summarized as sacrificing today for tomorrow. So you do the hard work today so that hopefully tomorrow you get to enjoy a better life. It's the same thing as your mom told you when you were a kid, that study hard so that you can grow up and like have a good job and make money and have a good life, right? The reward was, so you work hard today with the hope that your future tomorrow is better, right? So your reward is in the future. Your reward is as far in the future as it possibly can be. You just keep pushing off the reward and you keep working, right? um the good news of being on delayed gratification is that you end up working more because you need less rewards and you have more drive and you're ready to sacrifice and put the hard work in for the sake of a better future, instead of being addicted to modern pleasures like the ones I mentioned and just having no drive and no motivation and just feeling like empty and like a shell, you know. So you put the work in and you work hard, and yeah, the funny thing is like your brain sort of adjusts to it. You're It's not like you're suffering every day. It's like as you work hard, your brain gets used to less rewards, and so the hard work starts to seem less hard, and so you end up working more and doing more hard things. And if you have more energy and motivation and drive, you can do more things that are beneficial for you, and hopefully get yourself and your future onto a better track, and just do more things that are good for you, right? And so, you know, do not chase instant gratification, chase delayed gratification. I think that's like a fantastic way to live. The problem is that these modern pleasures are very addicting, and they're everywhere. Um, and As to how exactly, if you are addicted to one or more of these pleasures, how exactly you are going to break out of this and start doing the hard thing instead, is difficult, because our brains are wired to chase dopamine. So if we have rewards in front of us, we are going to press the button, right? The thing is like, if if you had like a choice to say that you could work for 3 years and put in the work and get like a six pack in the gym, or you could press a button and get a six pack immediately, I'm sure everybody would press the button, right? That's because our brains are wired to chase dopamine, and so we chase the instant reward. That's the way our brains are designed, right? The problem is that the rewards that we're chasing and the easy dopamines are actually bad for us, and they sap us of our vitality and our drive to just like do things in life. And so it's possibly all just a negative impact if you really zoom out and think about it. I don't think any of these easy dopamines have had any positive impact in our lives. As to how you actually swap the easy dopamines out with the good dopamines, or like the delayed gratification dopamines, um, you're gonna need to experience what life feels like on delayed gratification. So if you've experienced what life feels like to be able to like walk down the street and like look at everything and look at the surroundings and life with like a lust for life, and just feel so good that you're on the street and walking and there's sunlight and just being there feels so good. If you've never felt what it is like to feel that way, I can't really explain it to you, but it's like you need to realize that that side of the coin is better for you and how you feel if you want to quit this side of the coin, right? And so it's normal to be addicted, and it's easy to be addicted, but um I suggest you basically swap out the bad dopamines with the good dopamines, because the end result will be that you have higher motivation and higher drive to just work in the day, and you're gonna get more done, and your goals and your ambitions are gonna benefit as a result of it. Um, if Here's like a random bit of information before I close out the video. If you're trying to just quite honestly find out if an activity in your life is a good dopamine or a bad dopamine, just think about this. Think about what the activity feels like before you're doing it, what the activity feels like while you're doing it, and what the activity feels like after you're doing it, right? If the answer is good, good, bad, that you felt good before doing it, you felt good while doing it, and then you felt bad after doing it, then it's a bad dopamine or it's an easy dopamine. Stay away from those things, right? If the thing is you feel good, 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 meaning you feel good before doing it, you feel good while doing it, and then you feel good after doing the thing, then it's a good dopamine and it's possibly positively impacting you in some way. Yeah. But anyway, that was the gist of the video. Explaining how dopamine works and how you should monitor and control your levels to have more vitality in life and drive and stuff like that. As to how exactly to get rid of these addictions on a mental level and to swap these out with good habits, I think that is a separate topic that needs more exploration and depth. Let me know if you want me to talk about something like that. This is a strange video, I know, because most of the content on my channel is like MS and US and stuff like that, but I just wanted to like put this out there because I think it might have value to some people watching. But yeah, that's been it. Drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what else you want to see on the channel. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Hey, bye for now. Have a great day.